Coming up on City Spotlight, we roll along with the second half of Season 11 of City Spotlight, and we're back in Effingham to talk all things Effingham High School. We'll talk with Effingham High School Principal Kurt Roberts and Laura Sullivan, CTE Programs and Pathways Coordinator with Effingham Unit 40 Schools, about the current school year at Effingham High School and the latest on the physical structure of Effingham High School. And we'll get an overview of CTE, Career and Technical Education Programs at Effingham High School. It's another on-location City Spotlight episode in Effingham, back at Effingham High School, here on City Spotlight.
It's almost impossible to imagine life without internet today. It keeps us connected to work, school, and loved ones, no matter where they are. Effingham Fiber Internet now serves over 1 million locations, providing reliable, consistent service that keeps these connections strong. From vibrant cities to quiet rural areas, fiber broadband is a key driver of economic growth. Effingham is dedicated to supporting communities and enhancing lives through this essential technology. Learn more at FiddiumFiber.com.
And hello and welcome to another edition of City Spotlight. As you can see, we are on location for this episode and we are back in a familiar spot, Effingham and Effingham High School. We're going to tape this whole episode here at Effingham High School on the first day of spring, March 20th, 2025. And we welcome first time to the program, the principal here at Effingham High School, Kurt Roberts. Kurt, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Appreciate you being on and look forward to the two segments we'll have here on City Spotlight talking Effingham High School. Before we talk about the whole high school as a whole, Kurt, you're a first-time guest on the program. Tell us about yourself.
I tell people I've been in this district since I was in kindergarten.
Really?
So I am a graduate of Effingham High School several decades ago.
Wonderful.
But never thought I would be back as the principal at Effingham High School, but as it would have it, this is kind of where I've ended up, and I've been blessed to be so. So I've actually been here. I came back to this area in 2001. After I taught in Lincoln, Illinois for 5 years.
Very good.
From there, I was a teacher and a coach for a number of years. I moved to an assistant principal's position at the junior high, and I've been at the high school here now. I think this is my 8th year at the high school, and I plan to, this is it. This is where I plan to finish.
So, wow, you from your youth to now, you're back where you started. What does that mean to you to come full circle with that and be here? And like you just said right there, this is where it's going to be for you, and this is home, I guess.
So there's some days that I look at it and say, well, I don't know. I didn't plan to be here, right? This is not what the plan was, but sometimes things turn out better than your plan, and so I have been very blessed to be a part of a very fulfilling occupation and to be able to do it in where I grew up and to know some of the people that I possibly went to high school with and have their kids in class. Right. It's really been a very, I can't say it any other way, fulfilling. I tell people education is a very fulfilling and frustrating occupation.
At the same time, but you weren't sure if this was supposed to be. Obviously, it's where you were meant to be.
100%, absolutely.
Okay, fantastic. All right, let's talk about the building that you lead here, and let's talk about the physical component before we talk about programs, students, staff. Obviously, when you look around the area, you see high schools, and this is still one of the younger looking buildings
Sure.
in the area. How's it holding up?
It's holding up well. They moved into this facility. This is not the facility I graduated from.
True.
But they moved into this facility, I think in 1998 is whenever they first started
90s,
using this building. And for a building, actually, we're still talking 25 years plus. So it's holding up well. And so we still get a lot of compliments on being a modern building whenever it's still 25 years old.
Yes.
And so we're continuing to look on how we maintain but also improve upon that. And whether that be changes in curriculum that constitute a change in facilities, we look at that.
Right.
We are looking at this point, just like any kind of structure, any kind of facility, there are things that just over time you're going to have to replace. And so so we're constantly working with, me personally out of this building, working with our district level to say, hey, what are we going to upgrade? What are we going to do? One of the big projects we're looking at right now is our parking lot, our student parking and teacher parking, as in, asphalt and concrete doesn't last forever.
Superintendent Johnson, he told me the last time I taped with him that was on the docket, so that's still on the docket.
As far as I know.
Okay.
Sometimes those decisions get made and then I'm told about them later, but yes, that is still on the docket as far as I know.
Timing and money all impact when things get done.
Absolutely.
All right, very good. Thank you for answering those questions that I tend to ask superintendents, but you're a principal, so I can ask you about that. So
Sure.
We are taping here on March 20th. Again, first day of spring 2025. You have a couple more months left in the school year. How is the current school year going?
We're going well. I tell people that we have probably close to 800 people in the building, including staff and students, and so that's a small community inside these walls every day. And to believe that there's never going to be any problems, that's just ridiculous. We handle our problems well here at Effingham High School, and constantly looking for ways to improve the relationships we have with each other and with our students, and so that happens. People tend to get a little antsy this time of year. We tend to have this syndrome that we say, well, we're getting close to the end of the year. So sometimes it's a little bit of a challenge for us to stay the course, so to speak. But it's just the cycle of education, really, when it comes down to it.
All right, very good. We're going to talk about the programs offered here at EHS in just a second, but from a broad curriculum standpoint, any new curriculum added and or tweaked in recent years?
So yeah, and I'm going to forget some, I'm sure.
It's okay.
All right, but we'll try to get all of them. Obviously, part of the reason that we're talking today is that we have added a new position, and that is the Career and Technical Education Coordinator. With that comes curriculum, right? So in other words, we're not going to just add a position and not enhance or add. And so some of the things that have come about from that, and actually a little bit in front of that, as we continue to evaluate our programs, is we just brought back basically an ag program that hasn't been in this building for, well, I came in 2001, and it was being actually kind of sourced out at that point. And I'll talk a little bit about the ag program. It has become, it was an instant success. Part of that is to Mr. Totten, the teacher. Part of that is this is just something that our students wanted and needed.
And obviously the geography of where we're located.
Oh yeah. The industry, and it's not just, and a lot of people believe it's farmers. It's not. The ag industry extends beyond. We have Beck Seed. We have representation for Beck Seed in this community. We have FS. Right, that supports that agricultural industry. There also is just south of us near Kinmundy is a huge egg producing plant, right? So there is more than just your farmer. That business is immense, and especially in this area.
Basic ag.
Yeah, absolutely. So that has been huge in the growing. And the other thing that comes along with ag is FFA. And you can't speak enough about what FFA can bring for a student. It's one of the few activities that a kid can get involved with in high school, and it will continue into college for them. And so that's been something that I've wanted to bring back for a long time. I can't take the credit for it. Ty Totten, right? And who's instructing those ag classes, he said, yep, this is what we're going to do. And he told me, I'm going to make it easy on you, and he did. And so that's something we're pretty proud of having. And me personally is that the fact that it happened under my watch is fantastic. We've also added a few, we've added some what I would call computer tech classes. So these could include programming classes, game design classes, which is pretty popular.
Yes.
Some web design classes. Then the other thing that we're looking to expand into, and we've got them and they're growing, is really some more of the networking, security, those types of things, because the other's growing. So are those types of things as well, right? So the IT individuals, the individuals that are offering, how do I keep my network safe? Right. How do I keep my clients' information safe? Those are growing fields as well. We've also added and continuing to grow through our career technical education program. Is we have a child and daycare class we've had for a long time.
Wonderful.
However, we're really trying to grow that because we know the need is out there.
Absolutely.
So those are some of the things. I'm sure I'm forgetting some things that are out there that we're growing in.
There's a whole list of questions I could follow up on, and some of this video you'll see obviously in the next segment with Laura Sullivan with the CTE program, and a lot of what you just name dropped is involved with the CTE program.
Absolutely.
But for folks at home, for this high school, this school district, to have these, as I already taped the segment with Laura so in advance, so I'm going to kind of piggyback off what I asked Laura, but to be able to have these opportunities for students outside of the basic book knowledge that they have, this is a tremendous opportunity for the students to learn skills.
Sure, and that's really what it comes down to is we're looking at, and Laura and I have a lot of conversations about somewhat of a balance, because don't get me wrong, what you would call your traditional classroom is still needed, right? We're not saying that you don't need your English class or your math class along those lines, and so we look at that balance, but we're also starting to look at what is that skill base, and so for the most part what we do is plan backwards. Right? So in other words, when a student walks, and we talk a lot about, we want our students to have a purpose and a plan when they graduate. And so we work backwards and be able to say, all right, if this is their purpose and their plan after they graduate from us, how do we work backwards to the idea, what do they need from us then their senior year? What do they need from us their junior year? And that skill base is one of the places that we started looking at. We also work with people in the community, right? That's part of the CTE program coordinator position is we're working with and being able to say, hey, where's your workforce at? You know, what are you going to need in 5 years from now? What are you going to need, and where's the skill base that you're looking for? Because that works backwards to us as well. So how do we provide this so these students have that advantage whenever they walk out of Effingham High School in getting into whatever job market or whatever career or whatever college placement or whatever purpose that they have, that we're giving them that plan and the skills to get there.
All right, and my last question for you, Principal Roberts. Kurt, you're nearing the end of the school year. Sometimes I get to ask this, depending on when I tape with educators. Right. You're nearing the end of the school year. What does commencement mean to you as the principal of this high school?
Well, it means I never get to graduate, and that's kind of what, sometimes that's the way it feels. Every year there's this excitement of these individuals. You know, commencement, we think of it as an ending, but commencement actually means a beginning. And so when we look at that for students, it is this opportunity. And for me, because I do graduation practice with them prior to graduation, I get the opportunity to kind of have my last words, if you will. And I like to be able to send them out. If we're talking about them having a purpose and a plan, I like to give them some big advice, right, about what does it mean to be successful in life. And my biggest advice is, I'm just going to share it here and now everybody knows, is that really the only real true, two things. One, the only true person you're in, and I can't take credit for this, I stole this idea, but the only true person you're in competition with is the person you were yesterday. Right? Stop worrying about competing with the rest of the world. Just be a better person tomorrow than you are today. And so, and that's really my biggest piece of advice to them, is that the other one is this, that high school is not the best time of your life, no matter what people tell you, and don't let it be. And those two things kind of go hand in hand, right? Make sure that you advance every day.
Okay. I feel like that's a great way to end the interview, but leave you with one final question. Is there anything else you'd like to share here that's going on with Effingham High School here in these final 2 months of this school year, or that I may have left out, or maybe you forgot that you want to share with us here at the very end?
It's been kind of interesting. I will, and this is related to the CTE program. It's been kind of interesting to bring Laura Sullivan in this position, because as a new set of eyes, I've been here a long time, as a new set of eyes, she goes, you guys do a lot for kids. We don't always know that. The outside doesn't always know that. She goes, it's incredible with the amount of things that you actually do for kids. And it's been really great to have her kind of see that as a new person with a new set of eyes, to understand that we're doing a lot more than I think most people realize.
Okay, very good. Kurt Roberts, current principal here at Effingham High School. Pleasure, sir, to be in your building, and thank you for the time here on City Spotlight.
Thank you. I have enjoyed being here. I enjoy talking about my students and my staff and my building.
All right, very good. We'll talk with Laura Sullivan here on our next segment on City Spotlight here, talking about the CTE programs and pathways here at Effingham High School. But first, let's take a look at some of the upcoming activities going on in Effingham. And we're back here on City Spotlight, this new episode in Effingham at Effingham High School. We continued this episode here at Effingham High School on the first day of spring 2025, and we welcome now to the program Laura Sullivan, CTE Programs and Pathways Coordinator here at Effingham Unit 40 Schools. Laura?
Yes, hi, it's great to be here.
Pleasure to have you on. Thank you very much. Talked to Principal Roberts in our first segment, so got an overview of what's been going on here at EHS, Effingham High School. And great to have Laura on for our first time. Excited to share information on all these programs and lots of visuals that we have on some of these programs. But before we do that, Laura, you're a first-time guest on City Spotlight. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah. Hi, so I'm Laura Sullivan, and I just started my position with Effingham School District in July.
Okay.
This is a new position to the school district, and it's dedicated to focusing on career and technical education Those are programs that fall within business, agriculture, family and consumer science, healthcare, and industrial technology.
Okay.
So that's kind of a really broad overview.
Before we get too in detail, what you just started here at EHS and Effingham Unit 40. What brought you to Effingham? Are you from the area?
I live with my family in Mattoon, Illinois.
Okay.
And I've worked in kind of the Mattoon area for the last 20-some years.
Okay.
Before coming to Effingham, I worked in a regional cooperative educational institution whose focus was on career and technical education.
Okay.
And it was a grant-funded program that supported 25 school districts over an 8-county area.
Okay.
So through that position, that's kind of where I built my background in career and technical education. Effingham School District was one of the schools that I worked with, and so I've kind of had a long relationship with Effingham schools and various leadership throughout the years. And when this new position was created, I saw a great opportunity to help Effingham really focus in on building some strong workforce-ready programs at the high school. I know that the leadership here has always been very forward-thinking, very future-thinking, very willing to try new ideas. And it's rare in smaller schools, rural areas, to have somebody that kind of leads a career and technical education department. And I love having this opportunity to kind of really grow and make an impact.
So you are new here physically to Effingham schools. Obviously your background, as you just said, with the CTE programs, but it's new to Effingham High School. So why do you think it was needed?
There is, with growing our CTE programs, there is definitely a big push in the state to focus on making sure students are workforce ready, they are college ready. My role here is to help integrate academics with career and technical education, with workforce ready skills and employability skills, used to be called soft skills.
Soft skills.
So that students are ready for their next step once they graduate high school. There's such a focus sometimes in education on what SAT scores, what are ACT scores, what is attendance rates, all these report card data indicators, while the reality is that it's not about how students are necessarily performing well in high school, it's what are they doing once they graduate? Are they ready to become our next commercial lending officer? Are they ready to lead that next large construction project? Are our students ready to become the next generation of teachers? And so that's kind of what I feel my role is. I'm here to kind of help promote the programs that we have. We visited some wonderful classrooms today. Saw some amazing things going on. It's all about hands-on practice and making sure that students, what we teach in a classroom, and putting that hands-on work with it, so that students really can connect the two dots between their academics and the classes.
So this is certainly the collection of things that I physically already saw. We're going to see some video here in just a second. It's more than just the book knowledge. It's the skills that they learn in these classrooms. So let's give us an overview. Tell us about some of the different rooms that we visited, and again, we'll have some video of it as we talk. So where do you want to start?
So we'll just start with we visited one of our family and consumer science classrooms this morning, and those students were prepping for what Mrs. Harmon calls our cupcake wars. Students actually choose their own recipe. They can make adjustments to that recipe. Mrs. Harmon was explaining about a group of young men that were actually taking some cereal, soaking it in milk, and then they'll take the milk away and then actually use that cereal, that mushy cereal, as an ingredient in their cupcake batter. The students will then make their cupcakes and then display them. You'll also see some footage of students that have made some display cases for their cupcakes. The cupcakes will be displayed in our library for all of the students to see and actually vote on.
Pretty neat. Awesome. So among how they did it amongst their peers. All right. What's another classroom that we visited?
Visited our game design program. That is a very new program to Effingham High School. We're very excited to be offering some information technology classes. Some of the top jobs in the state of Illinois will fall within that information technology realm. So game design, the students were creating a game from scratch and or using some pieces of games and actually then honing in on those skills. We also visited our intro to drafting class where students learn basic drafting techniques using a ruler, how to use a protractor, how to use a T-square, and they'll actually do some design, some building design as part of that class.
I saw some of that from the instructor in that classroom showing one of the students how to, this one might be better to use for this. So particular rulers on what they needed to do.
Right.
So very good.
We also visited the Graphic Arts 2 classroom. Those students learn in that advanced class, students do learn how to design logos and artwork, and then how does that get transferred to maybe garments or handbags, or we've got students that are making and selling makeup bags or pins that you'd wear on a jacket or a sweater or a book bag, some keychains and things like that. So that's always been a very popular program at Effingham High School. Is our
pretty neat room when
arts.
I walked in there. They were pressing the shirts, they were making the logos, like you said. So it's from start to finish.
Yep. Utilizing all the same equipment that is used in design shops down the road.
Nice.
So we want to make sure that our students are learning current skills that can be applied directly in the workforce.
So not just making the logo, but physically putting the logo on the physical shirt. So pretty neat.
Right. And then we also visited our multimedia class where those students are kind of self-directed and run with passion projects. We saw some students that were actually working on a project with helping a local business problem solve and an issue that they've had in their industry, and the students are actually doing some research and will make a proposal with some ideas to help solve that problem. And then of course some students were also working on 3D printing. They'd like to enter the contest to 3D print a dairy cow, a butter cow, into the state fair contest. So I'll be interested to see the results of what the students are working on.
So unbelievable. Thank you very much. Appreciate going and having the access to all those rooms to be able to give folks at home a little perspective of, sometimes they don't always get to come and check out the classrooms inside these educational walls of all these school districts that I've been to. So very neat to see what the students are doing and learning, and some of it above my knowledge there. So anyway,
mine too.
So let's talk about in a broad spectrum. So this is obviously, as you said, this is more than just the core stuff, the books. So what do you think all of this means for students to have these opportunities, to have all these various programs, to learn these various skills? Because these opportunities for students, these things may have not been available to us when we were in our respective high schools during however old you are. I don't remember having all these opportunities available 25, 30 years ago. So for students now to have this, especially here at Effingham High School, talk about that opportunity for these students to be able to grow with these varying skills in addition to all the book stuff they're learning.
Yeah. So when I was a kid, the push was go to college. Every graduate needed to go to college. While a college education is still very important, it's also important to understand and realize that not every student wants to go to college, needs to go to college. There are a lot of really good, long-term, high-paying jobs within our community that don't require a college education. So our hope is that even through our academics and our career and technical education classes, that we can provide students with the skills that they need to be workforce ready, that they have the connections with businesses and know that we have good jobs available in our community, both with and without a college degree. We in our classes, one of my roles here is to look at some of the curriculum and see how we can make it better. Some of our career and technical education classes that we have here offer dual credit, so students can further their Some of our classes here in Career and Tech Ed are dual credit with Lakeland College.
Nice.
So even if they want to continue on in a business degree, we have business classes that are dual credit. If students want to continue on in industrial technology, we have classes in our welding and manufacturing program that are dual credit. Dual credit classes are very important. They help save time to get that college degree. It saves money, and then it puts our students into work quicker. Another piece I feel that's very important is making sure our students have opportunities to earn certifications while they're still in high school.
Right.
Industry ready, industry recognized certifications. We watched our students preparing for the Cupcake Wars. Our students have the opportunity to do a food handler's license, to obtain that at the end of the foods class, and then if they take the advanced level class, they even have the opportunity to sit for a food manager's certification exam. That's very, very challenging. We have students that take a local healthcare program and can earn a CNA certification. We're looking at adding Microsoft Office Specialist certifications in our
Very
classes.
nice.
So we offer OSHA 10 certifications for students. So anything that we can do to advance and elevate our coursework, we want to do that.
So the areas of business, industrial technology, agriculture, healthcare, and family consumer sciences. Just so many skills learned in high school. Unbelievable opportunities for students here at Effingham High School. Laura, is there anything else you'd like to add here in our final minute? Taping here at Effingham High School, talking with you today and Principal Roberts in our first segment.
I'm excited that the district has added a Career and Tech Ed coordinator position to the district. I've really enjoyed working with students of multiple ages. My role is working with the younger students as well as at the high school, and I've had a great time getting to know the business community as well, and sharing some of their needs with our instructors and kind of building some of those relationships.
So it sounds like you and the CTE programs here at Effingham High School, Effingham Unit 40 Schools, is off to a great start. Laura Sullivan, CTE Programs and Pathways Coordinator. Pleasure having you on City Spotlight, and we look forward to coming back in the near future.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much. That's been our latest City Spotlight episode on location at Effingham High School in Effingham. Thanks for watching.
It's almost impossible to imagine life without internet today. It keeps us connected to work, school, and loved ones, no matter where they are. Fidium Fiber Internet now serves over 1 million locations, providing reliable, consistent service that keeps these connections strong. From vibrant cities to quiet rural areas, fiber broadband is a key driver of economic growth. Fidium is dedicated to supporting communities and enhancing lives through this essential technology. Learn more at fidiumfiber.com.